Hey everyone, and welcome to our live broadcast. I'm Tony Jones, filling in for Phil. He's out traveling in Phoenix at a conference this week, so I'm happy to be here and have my guest, Kip Morse, who's the President and CEO of the Central Ohio Better Business Bureau. So hoping to learn more about the Better Business Bureau and how we can all benefit from it and how it helps our communities. And then at the end, as I promised last night, we were a sponsor at a network after work event, and so we're going to have a raffle for the two prizes we talked about yesterday, so we got to remember to do that. So, but first, let's thank you for coming, Kip.
Well, yeah, thank you for having me. This is great.
Yeah, no, thank you. So the first thing I want to talk about, obviously there's the side of the consumers and the side of the businesses, and I'm going to let you do most of the speaking. And we do have our screen here that in the Better Business Bureau website, so please use that as you need. But let's start with the consumers. You know, how can they best use and benefit from the Better Business Bureau?
Well, I mean, the consumers have free access, and so businesses support us to provide that access to consumers all over really the world now. It's a global marketplace, and so when they're looking to do business, when they get offers out there, when they're developing relationships at networking events and so forth, they want to do their due diligence to check on those companies and those individuals, and BUB is one of the comes up first oftentimes in their search, and so they can get all sorts of information by going to a business's profile. We've got boots on the ground. We've got 34 employees, and they're evaluating businesses based on standards.
Okay.
And we've got a database that allows us to track businesses over a long period of time. So we have a really good understanding of who is doing business in our community. And when I say our community, we're responsible for 21 counties in Central Ohio. So having that kind of data and that kind of individuals that are really kind of investigating proper licensing and how they handle their complaints and how long they've been in business and whether they adhere to standards that we've set up and then working with associations on developing those standards. Those are the things that are the kind of the backbone of why consumers like to come to us, continue to come to us at record numbers. We have like 2 million people last year that came to our website to check on businesses, and so that's important.
2 million in Central Ohio?
Just in Central Ohio.
Wow.
And so what our goal and what we spend a lot of time on is data quality, making sure that we have a good, robust database, and then also we have to be relevant. So we have to provide the information that consumers are looking for, and so we're doing that on a regular basis. We have to be found frequently. We have to, if they're looking for something, we have to have data on them, and so we spend a lot of time on that data quality aspect.
Okay. And we had somebody, one of my favorite charities is a Homeless Families Foundation, and so what I didn't know is that you can go check charities out too, just to make sure that who you're giving to is a legitimate charity. So a lot of research looks like has been done on those as well.
Yeah, so we have we align ourselves with the Wise Giving Alliance, which is out of DC. It's a Better Business Bureau entity, and they have 20 standards of charitable accountability, and so we use those, and we evaluate charities based on those standards.
Okay.
And then we provide information to donors or people that are involved with those charities to let them know how are they spending their money, how they're set up. The 20 standards kind of touch on all aspects of a charity, and so you can get a sense of is it a charity that's doing phenomenal work and is worthy of your money? Is it a charity that most of the money is going to for-profit fundraising, and and a couple pennies are going towards the organization, and then we help charities that are starting up, because they need to understand what those standards are, and they need to understand that in order to build trust with those donors and with the individuals they want to be working with, then that's going to be important to have somebody to go to get that help.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and a couple things that you had pointed out when I was, we're looking to have some remodeling done, so I checked out, we're at Scam Alerts now, but one of these is going to be where we can get consumer reports. So there's other great tools on the website that people can use. You want to talk about one or two of those here?
Yeah, sure. So if you're actually searching, we put this front and center, search accredited business directory, so you can go there and you can get a list of by industry of companies that have met our standards. that have been evaluated based on our standards and that adhere to those, and then you can see their ratings. You have to have a B rating or better to become accredited. Unfortunately, on a monthly basis, there's a couple here or there that we have to expel. On a monthly basis, we have a couple that don't meet our standards, that are trying to become accredited. We'll work with them, but we want to make sure that they're aligned with the standards. So you've got the ability to search for them, but then also you might say, well, I need to know what questions to ask them. I need to know how many bids I should get. I need to know kind of a lot more about this industry, whatever it might be. If it's financial planning, you want to know some of the right questions. What's the difference between fee-based and non-fee-based? Anything like that. You can get tips on that kind of information as well. And we've got a number of different microsites that are set up that can provide you that. And they have links off to additional resources. So we've evaluated those resources to make sure that those are really adequate, pertinent to the topic. Other things, I mean, obviously, filing a complaint is very easy online. You file that complaint, and that information goes directly to the business and to us, and so that we can monitor that relationship, and then we deal with conciliation, mediation, and arbitration. So if it's to the point where you actually need to have a full-blown arbitration and let an arbitrator decide, you can go down that road as well.
You can have somebody come in. So
yeah.
We talked a little bit about the scam alerts.
Yeah, the scam alerts, might touch on that. If you, yeah, I don't want to open it in a different link, but I can touch on. We have a scam tracker, and this. So in this case, the scam alerts is basically you're going to get up-to-date information on different things that we're evaluating.
Okay.
So if we feel as though, based on the time of the year, based on things that we're getting, scammers posing as IRS agents, so many people heard about that. Well, our scam tracker listed that as #1. And the scam tracker is a national program, and law enforcement uses it as well. It goes into some law enforcement databases. It's the #1 resource for that. It gives the consumer the ability to tell us what's happening. What did they offer to you? We know whether they've lost money, and then you also have the ability to get it into the hands of somebody that might be able to get the money back. But like the IRS scam, we were able to quickly realize that that's elevating within days, and get an alert out there and work with the TV stations and get alerts out there. And so it gives us some really quick information about accessing scams in our marketplace.
Okay, well, great. Well, so let me ask you, that's from the consumer point of view, and what was of interest to me is you produced a report for us, and unbeknownst to us, I think 75 people have checked us out the last couple years, even more so. We're on a higher pace this year, 50 so far. So it goes to show for businesses how much somebody is taking a look at you. So from a business, what's the benefit to businesses to?
Yeah, so that is information we will provide to businesses. So if you're curious as to how many people are contacting the Better Business Bureau, give us a call, check us out. You have the ability to log in under your own company and get a lot of that information as well. Oftentimes people say, I don't think anybody checks with the Better Business Bureau on me, because nobody tells them. Yeah, nobody says, hey, I felt like I needed to check you out. And so oftentimes when they realize that how many people are checking, it's not that they distrusted you from the outset. It's that we have trained people to do their due diligence, and that's good. They want to find out, and sometimes they just want to be able to find out, what kind of a profile you have. You can put photos and videos. You can request a quote from our site from a particular company. You can find out who the owners of the company are. You can find out what programs and resources and products they provide. Right. So you get to, it's almost like a mini website on behalf of the business.
Right. So they're checking on those things. So, okay.
This is just real quick. That's the scam tracker. So I mean, it gives you the ability to zero in and tell you how many scams might be happening, and then what they are. Down here, it'll kind of tell you, types of scams that are happening.
Right. So the tax and the IRS one is
jumps up to the top.
That scares people, I think, right? Oh, the IRS is after me.
Right.
Just write a check to somebody and be done with it, right?
Right.
So that's too bad. So, but anyway, so one of the, we consider ourselves pretty entrepreneurial. We really respond to our clients and try to develop products. And I thought it was neat that you guys had an award, the Spark Award, for entrepreneurs. So can you talk a minute about that?
Yeah, so that was really built on, we had the Torch Award for Ethics, that is kind of the pinnacle businesses that are really intentional about about ethics and developing a culture of character all the way through their organization. And then we started working with startup businesses and entrepreneurs. And I asked them, what resonated with these Torch Awards, and they said character, culture, and community. Those are kind of the three areas. So we decided, why don't we recognize that while they may not have been in business long enough to say what we've developed this culture and we're really intentional in all these 6 different trust principles that the BAB espouses, they can say we have a heart for it, and these are the areas that we're really involved in. And so they do videos for the selection committee, and the stories are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You can have startup businesses, you can have social enterprises, you can have nonprofits that are doing great work and maybe even have developed a for-profit entity to help fund them. So it's very creative, and it's an opportunity to recognize businesses. We've always said that doing an assessment of your business, and then and then training, and then recognition is critical.
Right. No, and that's great, because so much of the community works on those entrepreneurial people who are just starting the businesses. So I'm glad to see that. The last thing I want to mention, Phil, who's not here today, was in the military. My brother is a vet, so I love seeing that there's a section for military personnel and vets. So how about a minute about that?
Absolutely, deserves a lot of time. We actually, I'm on the board nationally of the Institute for Marketplace Trust, and they're the ones that kind of house what we refer to as the military line. And it's a division that it focuses on, originally started from, unfortunately, the predatory lending that was taking place. They have a fixed amount of money. Oftentimes, they're overseas, and they're leaving their family to deal with some of the different questions that take place. Mm-hmm. And then people are providing or looking to them for to access their money, so to speak, and they're very vulnerable. And so what we did is we set up all sorts of different services to try to help them, get the communication out to them, and provide them access to our information. Mm-hmm. And so we're represented at a lot of their meetings, and try to let them know that we're a resource to be utilized.
Yeah, well, that's great, and I'm glad you clarified that, because I'm thinking of when folks are home after they've served and things, but actually the families are here, and obviously some.
Well, after they serve as well, yeah, it comes in handy. Yeah. And we do a lot of partnerships. We have a partnership with FINRA that provides financial literacy, and so these are, if you want a presentation done by the BAB, we've got that. We've got cyber fraud. We've got keeping kids safe online. Mm-hmm. So we've got a lot of different ways that trust permeates all the presentations, and so we can come out and talk to organizations.
Okay, that's great. And financial literacy is a big problem. It's one of the things that we are continually pushing. We work with Dave Ramsey. A lot of folks around here haven't heard of him as much. He's out of Nashville. He is a national guy, but because we need to lift financial literacy to help all people. So
yeah, it's critical.
Well, listen, one last thing then, if you can help me on the raffle, right?
Absolutely.
So thanks to those people who came out last night to the network after work. As we talked about, we've got 2 prizes, the Fire HD8 and then the Echo Dot. So we'll draw 2 names. We'll do the Fire first. Kip can pick a name out of our hat here.
All right.
And just the business cards from last night. And so this would be Fadi Abdin, the founder and CEO of TimeMenus.com. So Fadi will get in touch with you and get this over to you. And then the last one would be the Echo.
The Echo.
And so this one, Mark Lejeune, Director of Sales at Employment Solutions. So we talked with him yesterday. Mark, it was good talking to you, so I'm glad that'll come in use to you. So, but Kip, Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you
thank
taking
you.
time. The
Enjoyed it.
last thing we'll talk about is, how to contact you. So of course, an easy way, Better Business Bureau, bbb.org/Central Ohio. But also up on the screen right now, we're posting the website and phone number that they can just call to reach out to you on. So.
Yeah, that'll be great, and we've got people ready to take your phone calls if you need to talk through something as well.
Excellent, okay. All right, well, thanks again. Everybody have a good week, and Phil will be back next week, and we'll be back with our show. And I'm forgetting who the topic is, so that'll be up on the screen. Thank you.